Hey, it's Allie with Seattle Coffee Gear, and today we're in the new Kirkland store to show you a crew comparison between the new R58 CInquantotto, still not quite right, but I'm getting on that, and the Linea Mini from Marzocco. So both of these machines kind of hit the same range or the same features, and so a lot of times when you're deciding on a dual boiling machine for your home, these are two of the more popular options. They do work a little bit differently though, and so we're going to kind of go over what they have in common and what makes them different. So both of these machines have recently come out with a new PID, or for the Marzocco, it's the app. So they've added on a couple of different functions for you. It's going to be a lot easier to change the temperature of the brew and steam boilers. You have the option for either. For the Marzocco, that will be done on that app, and it connects. So just this one hasn't been updated yet, so I don't have the ability to show you that, but we're working on that. And then the PID here on this side will be how you do that for the R58. Super easy to use. Both of them will be really user-friendly, intuitive as well, so not much going on there. They both give you schedules to turn on and off, which is super nice if you like to have your coffee machine heat up for you and you don't have to have it on all the time. The Marzocco actually, so they have one more added function that the R58 will not, CInquantotto. The Linea Mini actually has a pre-infusion, or more like a pre-wet function. So it will turn the water off for a little bit, stop, and then, because it automatically will come with a 1-second pre-infusion, stop, and then continue on to your brew. In that app, you can actually change how long you want the water to, or how much water you want to go into pre-wet, how long you'd like it to stop, and then continue on into your brew, which is pretty cool. The R58 doesn't give you that function. However, it will have the pre-infusion that it can do manually. And sometimes it's a little hard to achieve because this is more of a secondary design rather than like a primary. They were very intentional about doing that on the Linea Mini, but the E61 brew group design just kind of has it as a part of what it is. So to do that on the R58, you just gently pull up on this lever. Let me see if I can get it on camera. That's your little pre-infusion. So the pump hasn't kicked in yet, but little water's coming out, and then to activate, you just turn it all the way up and you'll get that full immersion there. So won't be able to adjust it on this one. You don't really have like a pause unless you were to intentionally do that. The Linea Mini will program it for you. Automatically though, I'll show you what it comes with, the 1-second pre-wet. See that little bit of drop there? Let me see if I can catch it again. You see that? A little bit of water comes out before it goes straight into brewing. And you hear that pump kick on. The size of the boilers and the type of the brew boilers for these is also different. The Linea Mini uses an integrated brew group design as opposed to the E61 brew group. An integrated brew group, basically that's a term that's exclusive to Marzocco. It's going to be, the boiler is actually sitting so close to where that coffee is prepped. It's only a 1.7 liter boiler, so that's pretty small. It's just it's just heating enough water for your espresso shot, so it's going to be very precise on that temperature. It has a huge steam boiler as well, over 3 liters, which is why you see it a lot of times in commercial settings. Or if you do a ton of steaming or a lot of hot water use, that's super nice to have. When we move over to the E61 brew group design, sorry, let me put this back. The E61 brew group and the R58, it has just over a 1/2 liter boiler. So it is going to be an actual boiler instead of the more like integrated mini boiler size. It has hot water running through that E61 group to keep it pretty consistent, but because the way the water is running through this machine, It actually does have a little bit of temperature loss. So while it is pretty consistent, and it's definitely going to be more consistent than heat exchanger styles or single boiler styles and things like that, the Linea Mini will win when it comes to how consistent it can be for temp shot to shot. So that's one reason why people really love this machine and why there's a little bit of a price difference as well. Steam pressure on this one, so this one has just over 1.5 liter boiler, so a little bit smaller. Definitely not going to be used in commercial settings. You want to make sure this is just used in a home. It doesn't have the certifications you would need as well. Both of these designs are relatively new. So the Linea Mini has been out for a little bit longer. It's still a relatively new machine to the market, but it's quickly become pretty much a commonplace name in the espresso machine game, or for your domestic or commercial setting. This is a highly talked about machine. This new design is right off the press from Rocket. It's brand new, and so this is going to be their new technology and new things coming out. So both of these have just recently gotten an update with a lot of features that I think bring them up to the modern age, which is really nice. I think I've told you just about all I can about their features. Why don't we make a drink? So I have my Specialita grinder here from Eureka in white, which I adore. I love how it matches the Linea Mini as well. I have Big Truck in my hopper from Olympia Coffee Roasters. One of my favorite. I did a dial-in video on it one time, and I've gotten that pretty close. I just did a quick little dial-in this morning. But let's start with the Linea Mini. Both of these machines do have that hot water feature. Neither of these machines have the ability to do like a mixing valve. That will be in some of their other models up for both brands. So they're going to be a little bit hot. You'll see here kind of the hot water function there. I have the Akaya Pearl Scale and the Lunar, just because I had the ability to use them, so why not make my life a little bit easier. Beautiful. I'm just doing a standard shot. Okay, so that's 17.6. I'm gonna add just a little bit. Might be too much. 18.6, just a second. When you're getting either of these machines too, something I'd recommend is buying a nice scale. When you're getting equipment like this, you just really want to get the most out of it. And one of the ways to do that is by having a precise scale to measure. If you have a general scale that doesn't measure in like 1/10 of a gram, for example, you'd want to have it up to the 1/10 of a gram. You won't be able to get those little nuanced differences that you're seeing from shot to shot, and that's helpful for both machines, for really any machine. Still working on some distribution techniques. I've been doing some like tapping lately. That's been nice, but I still haven't settled on one that I really like. Dual boiler, you don't really need to flush. I flushed in case there's any coffee left over from previous shots. One thing I will say that they don't have on the Linea Mini that they do have on the R58 is that shot timer. So I don't have a way to really measure by time how this shot is pulling. Unless I have my scale down here with the Lunar, I do. So I've activated that. A little bit slower than earlier. That's okay, I think it'll pick up. Yeah, see. Sometimes, and you see, I don't know if you're able to catch it on camera, but when you see that split and it's coming out on one side more than the other, probably a little bit of channeling there, or my tamp wasn't very even. Really, I probably think on that particular one, the grounds were a little bit heavier on one side than the other, which would lead to that. Perfect. A little bit of a longer shot. It's not too bad though. I'm just gonna go with it because we are gonna add some milk here. You definitely can brew and steam at the same time on these. It's just hard to talk and do that. The Linea Mini has a super powerful steam arm, but it is not insulated unless you purchase the upgraded insulated, and this one does not have it. Hold on. Steam is so powerful though, you really do have to get used to it. If you're used to steaming on less powerful machines. Oop, see, good example of why you would want no burn. But it's really easy to get that off. We have a solution called Rinza. All you do is soak it, or if you take some hot water to it, it'll come right off. I will get to that in a little bit. Oops. Linea Mini latte. I like cappuccino since this cup is so small. Nice, and I did latte art. Love the Marzocco, really nice machine. Price point's a little bit higher than obviously some other ones. It's gonna be super reliable though and give you a really nice product. I'm gonna just go ahead and taste the drink. I was gonna wait till the end, but I don't want it to separate. Oh, that's a good latte. If I could drink more milk, I would. Delish. Okay, let me clean up really quick. Just make sure. Oh, I should mention both of these are plumbable too. They have rotary pumps, which is going to be that more commercial grade style. It's a stronger pump. It's going to last a lot longer. Here, check it out. I'm going to just dip a little bit of water just to show you how easily that will come off. Ta-da! There we go. Rinza is also super useful though, and it will get all of the milk out from inside of the steam arm too. Moving on to our R58. Let me see if I can replicate that beautiful latte. So here we go again, same coffee, big truck. Kind of a more mild but chocolatey espresso. So remember, this is going to be a different brew group style. So we should be getting a pretty good comparison of the way they can change the flavor or the taste or how they would affect that. And then this was a little too much last time. Working in small spaces. If you can see me, there's actually, at our retail stores, we have, if I can get this to grind, whoopsie. And I try to multitask. The wall behind me is actually our coffee wall, which is what we do in both of our retail stores. We have a whole bunch of selections, and you could actually come in and I forgot to tear that out. Actually come in and try them all out and find a coffee that works for you. We make little pour-overs on site, which is pretty cool. So if you're new to like specialty coffee or really just new to coffee in general, or want to find a bean that you'll be able to try first before you buy it, because specialty coffee can get expensive, we all know that, but you can try it out, see if it fits your profile. Or just expand your palate. When we get new people into Seattle Coffee Gear and they come into the store, we try to make them taste all the coffees. The gauntlet, if you will. 17.9, I'll take it. That's pretty close to 18. Sorry, and I am substituting rags today for these disposable ones. I'm also in here before the store is open so that I'm able to not wear a mask. Perfect. I can stop gabbing your off and make a drink. Here we go. Pull my lunar scale back. right. Line all that up. It does have an auto tare function on the scale that I turned on, but there we go. So on the R58, we talked about the shot timer. We're gonna have that displayed in two different places right here and on this big PID here, but this is removable, so in case you didn't wanna have that on all the time, if you like a little bit more of a sleek look, that's able to be put away. Here we go. I do like having the shot time. I think that's just a crutch from being in the industry and using time as a measure for volume and weight. Just an old habit. Old habits die hard, but a lot of people don't use time. Marzocco, for example, is a huge proponent of doing things differently, like not tamping and not using time, but weight. Weight is always going to be a better measure because it's more consistent. You can have different volumes of coffee. For example, if the crema is heavy on one coffee versus another, that's going to change the volume rather than the weight. Let's see if I can get the hot water function. I do like that the Rockets have a little bit more working room. Another thing I'd probably take from my commercial experience or being a barista, I didn't work on a Marzocco machine whenever I was a barista, so working in these like confined spaces is a little tough. I feel like I have to peek my head under there a little bit, but maybe if you had it on a taller counter, that would not be as much of an issue. And I am using a different pitcher just because I did not have two matching, but this is the Rocket pitcher that I actually really like. Different steam tip too. This one will come with 4 automatically. This one just comes with 2 holes. It does come with another one in the box that you can change it out. But for now, pardon me, scooting back over. Here we go. So just because I don't have 4 holes on the steam arm, it's going to be slower. I also didn't check to see what the steam pressure was at on the Linea Mini versus this one, but the pressure is actually going to be given to you on this gauge here. That's your steam boiler pressure. And pressure equivalent is the equivalent to temperature in this case, so the higher the pressure, the higher the temperature, or vice versa. Nice. A little bit of foamy milk. Someone made fun of me for pouring that into the drip tray, but what do you want from me? Oops. That's what I get, karma. Ooh, so not as good, but that is totally my fault, not the machine. I was just spilling everywhere. All right, same coffee, different machine. So this one's not as foamy on my part. Let me put that down. But I think it has a lot of the same traits. Let me see if I can go back to this one. That one came out, I think, with a little bit more depth of flavor. That one was a little less strong. Some of that could be to do with the foam content, but they're also 2 different machines. So you tell me. Thanks so much for watching, guys. These are some pretty awesome machines. You'll have a great time with either one. If you have any questions in particular, or if you want some help deciding which one is a better fit for you, just reach out. We're always happy to help. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment below, and we'll see you next time.